You know, you want to be on stage when you want to talk. Welcome to the Badger Beer Report, Mix 6. I am your host, Greg Washington. This is the Badger Beer Report. We have a really fun show for y'all tonight, this evening. We have my friends from the Badger Beer Happy Hour reunion show, y'all. The Badger Beer Happy Hour, for those who used to attend and watch us, was a Twitter space, actually. And the Twitter space consisted of myself as the host, and Chris Drosner as co-host. Then we had Maggie Skinner and Simon McConico from from Revolution Brewing. She is the Wisconsin rep for Revolution Brewing. And Simon McConico, who is, well, y'all know Simon, founder, owner, everything doer at Vennture Brewing Co. and Milwaukee. So I just wanted to get them back, y'all. To most of y'all didn't listen to the Twitter space. We know this, but I just wanted to get them back to talk about 6 things that are kind of pressing me. Actually 5 things that are pressing me, and 1 that's pressing Chris Drosner. So we'll get to that in a second here. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the rise of NA and low ABV beers, y'all. We're going to talk about the fast-growing THC movement. Chris is the one who wants to talk about that. I mean, not that I don't want to, but it's definitely creeping on the beer industry. Almost every brewery has one, including Vennture. So we'll get into Simon's thinking about all this during that. That's great. The hyper-local movement and community. And we have one of the best people in Wisconsin, in my opinion, to talk about that, which is Simon from Vennture, because Vennture is really all about that. We got the business of beer and the changing economy. I recently talked to a staff economist from the Brewers Association, Matt Gracias. I think I said his name right, hopefully. He's an economist. We'll get into that a little bit about what the craft beer market looks like today and all that. And then Wisconsin beer trends. We're going to talk about what's going on as far as the styles go in Wisconsin, what was going on in the summer, anything that we can come up. I'm seeing a lot of Belgians, y'all, within the past week. Of course, we're seeing Oktoberfest and the, fest beers and pumpkins are coming in, but the Belgians are really standing out. And then for summer, the cream ale stood out to me, but we will see what everybody else says. And then lastly, we will have updates on Revolution and Vennture Brew Co. So without further ado, let me bring up my wonderful panel for this discussion. So first and foremost, we will bring Badger Beer alum, is it? Chris Drosner? Is it alum?
I'm relegated to alum status, huh?
No, I mean alum means you're not here anymore, though, right? Or I'm confused.
Yeah.
Co-host, co-founder, all that stuff of Badger Beer Report. What's up, Dan? What's up, Chris?
Hey, Greg. Great to be back.
Yeah. What's going on?
A lot of stuff on the day job lately. Staying busy with
that's
non-work things. A lot of magazine stuff.
Cool. We had an eventful summer here at Badger Beer Report. We might or may not get to that. Actually, part of it was hanging out with our first, guest, because you're a guest here, kind of. I don't know. I'm confused. Well, anyway, it's Maggie Skinner from Revolution Brewing, and she is a rep. She's the Wisconsin rep, and she is a friend of ours, and she is awesome. What's up, Maggie?
Thanks, guys. Hi. How we doing?
Where's my clapping hands? I didn't get them for you, Chris. Sorry. But Maggie gets them. You'll be fine, Chris. You'll be fine.
She deserves the clapping.
Yeah, you'll be fine. What's going on, Maggie? How you doing? And how you been?
I'm good. I've been home for all of 40 minutes, just in time to make this happen. So
I was surprised. Yeah, and I was surprised to see you actually at home. We were surprised to see you at home, but you are definitely multitasking. So.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm prepping some flower crowns for an Oktoberfest because being a beer rep never ends, right? So,
well, it's fine. Your mom also, so you understand the whole that never ends either. So, I mean,
yes, yeah, right. Yeah. My son actually just left, so
yeah, and someone else who can relate to never-ending work. He's a father. He's a brewer. He's an owner of a brewery. I don't know why he did it. Well, I understand why you wanted to be a father. Starting a brewery, Chris. I don't know why you would ever
He
do
did
that.
all that shit at the same time too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know why he would ever do that. But also picture taker too. That would be Simon McConico from Vennture Brewing Company. Is he frozen?
No, I'm not frozen. I thought you said I could relate to being a mom, which I'm like, don't put me on that pedestal. Don't get crazy.
Right.
Get crazy.
Right. Simon, what is going on? How you doing?
I'm alive. I'm limping through the summer. It's been crazy. It's been busy. My kids are alive. If you hear some screaming in the background, they're probably getting leg dropped by the wife. It's bath night. So yeah, bath night.
Yeah, man, nothing like mommy's discipline. I'll tell you that much. So that being said, y'all, let's jump right in. So the rise of NA and low ABV beers. There is a movement, y'all. It's called the Sober Curious movement. It describes a movement where the mindset where individuals question their relationship with alcohol, often by intentionally drinking less or taking breaks to explore the benefits of sobriety. It's not necessarily about complete abstinence, y'all, but rather a mindful approach to alcohol driven by goals of improved wellness, better sleep, increased energy, and enhanced mental health. The trend has gained significant visibility through social media and the growing market of non-alcoholic beverages, fostering a community where people share their experiences and support each other in life with less alcohol. You gotta love the AI summing it up for a guy that doesn't know words like that. So, with that being said, let's hit the brewery owner first on this one, y'all. Simon. What are you seeing as a brewer as far as this goes, and how are you compensating for it?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because getting into brewing 7 years ago, or at least starting a brewery 7 years ago, and being into beer quite a while before that, it was a very different landscape. 7 years ago. And it's interesting seeing how things are changing quite a bit. I think low ABV beers have always been around. I don't think that's anything new. If you look at, even in Minnesota, they used to have 3-2 beers. Part of that was, it was laws, but on Sunday, if you wanted to buy a beer, you had to get a 3-2 beer, 3.2% alcohol, which is pretty low. So I think those have been around for quite a while, and even the history on low ABV beer is very prevalent. Porters, and if you look at a lot of the English beer, a lot of those were very low ABV because the whole point was that you're drinking with people in the community, where you're going to your local pub and you're buying around, and you're having 2 or 3, and then you're going home. Or even if you go back, Belgium, France, a lot of saisons that they were drinking in the field, those were like 2% because it was better than water. I mean, now we're in a position where our water is fine, so we don't need to ferment anything to to hydrate. But I think having NA and low ABV beers allows us to continue to be social animals and social people. Even when that's something that, I don't know. As I get older, beer affects me different. Alcohol affects me differently. Everything is constantly changing. Sometimes I have a sinus infection, but I still want to go hang out with people. And so I think there's definitely a place for it. It's interesting to see the difference in based on generations. And I think that's where I noticed it more often, is that younger people aren't drinking as much or any alcohol. And they're they're drinking other things or they're going out and doing stuff. But I mean, one of the ways that we kind of circumvent, or I guess one of the ways that we continue to outreach is by having a dual stream of beverages where we have beer and we have coffee. We're a coffee roastery as well. So for us, the whole point is community, and sometimes that community revolves around a 10.5 or 11% donut stout, and sometimes it revolves around a pour over, or the release of our new, whatever our new fall lineup of lattes is. So I mean, there's definitely a larger focus on that. I've seen people who've been doing like sober November, sober September, and they don't necessarily want to just hole away in their house. They just don't want to drink right now, which is totally fine.
What kind of products, like non-coffee, non-alcoholic products, do you guys carry?
We have kombucha. We have a variety of teas. We make THC beverages as well. We haven't dipped our toes into really NA cocktails. I have a hard time with that. I feel like I get wanting to have like a fancy drink, but most of the time they're not necessarily tasting as good as a cocktail, and they cost about the same amount to make. So for me personally, I don't see a reason to do a lot of that. We did do an event called Mom Prom, and we had a NA French 75, and it was pretty tasty. But I could see something like that where it's a special occasion or it's like a specific event, and you want to go out with your friends and you want to participate, and not feel as you don't want just a can of kombucha, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But I mean, we try to have a variety of products that aren't just soda.
So, all right, go on, Chris.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like this has been a thing for a while, and it's kind of been building. I mean, do you think there's been any kind of acceleration of that? And Maggie, you're out in the market all the time too. You see the product mix in tons more places than we probably do. Do you see this kind of coming on as a thing, or is it just, I guess not coming on in terms of just steady growth, but like kind of a boom or the increased kind of velocity with this stuff over the past, I don't know, like 6 months or maybe this summer?
I mean, for me, like, this sober curious movement was even like when I was running Olive Girls Pine Out, we would lose some chapter leaders because they were sober curious and they were really tired of just having to drink all the time or feel that the need that they have to in order to have these friendships. And so, I mean, that's pre-COVID era. So, I mean, I think the sober curious movement has been around a lot longer than maybe this group has been fully paying attention to. But, it's definitely something that I even try myself. I'm a social drinker. So if I'm out, I will drink. But if I'm not, I don't drink at home. It doesn't faze me. I don't think about it. So it's always just kind of been there. But for the market, there's so many like NA spirits. It's a lot. And I do know bars that really love their NA cocktails, and like people love to go there and feel like super welcoming. That's like so welcoming to them when they have like all these fancy NA cocktails. And I went to Heirloom, and even like they have a whole cocktail menu, and they're like, yeah, we'll make it NA for you. I'm like, great, I don't need that, but that's great to know, so you can have the same fancy cocktail as your friend, except for I'll just have the same one, just an NA, so it looks the same, it feels the same, the boomerang, the millennial boomerang's the same on Instagram kind of deal for you and your friends. So I think it's been around a lot longer, and I definitely think there's an uptick. Athletic, really taking the beer side by storm, especially putting it on tap. Like bars, I know bars have NA beer on tap, and I'm like, damn, all right, like that's kind of a kick in the pants, but like good for them.
I mean, that's also a little bit scary to me. Like NA beer on tap without alcohol fortifying it is sometimes a little like from a health perspective.
Sure.
If you're not cleaning your lines regularly and you have something that's not that doesn't have booze in it, that can be a little bit scary. But yeah, I mean it's really intriguing to see how many people have embraced that. I think there's also, I mean, a lot of the younger generation, I think at some point will discover drinking, but there was a whole generation that essentially didn't have parties, didn't go to, when they were in college, didn't even have college, like didn't have that whole experience. I didn't either. I went to a college and didn't drink until I moved to Wisconsin, because that's apparently what you do. But like there is a whole United States amount of college kids who didn't have the same kind of experience that the previous college kids had. And I think that does play into kind of the way that people interact with alcohol, with it being such a social beverage. But
I do want to add that like college kids are still drinking. They may not go out to the bars near as much, and they're definitely not nearly as interested in craft beer as us millennials were. But I think they want. Have you guys ever heard of a Borg? Is it just me like having a 20-year-old son that would know this?
I mean, if you're talking about Star Trek, yeah.
So no, it's it's like milk, like a half-gallon jug of milk, or maybe it's a gallon jug of milk, the large
Blackout Rage gallon.
Yes. And so then with that, they'll fill it with like vodka or some clear like tequila, and then it's like the Mio and like some Sprite, or I don't, whatever concoction they would like, cranberry juice. So like kids are down to get blackout, but also like on a dime, because in this economy, they can't do $20 a six pack for a THC or 25 or whatever it is. And then they'd rather just buy like crappy college weed and then drink a Borg.
Yeah.
So they're just, I don't think they can afford it either. Like that was my main point.
Yeah, fair.
All right. Well,
sorry.
No, we're good. We're just gonna move on to the next one here. And we'll bring Chris back because it looks like he had some technical difficulties or something here. But so beer number 2 in the mixed six pack is actually not a beer, y'all. It's a THC drink. And it's a fast growing movement. It has taken over breweries, actually, especially here in Wisconsin. We've had, what was it, Act 73? No. Act 73 is the one with the whole great taste thing. It was the hemp bill, 2000.
Farm bill.
Sorry, Farm Bill, 2018. At least I got the year right. And that opened the, and then brewers found out about, my calculation was about 3 years later, that brewers found out that there was a loophole here where they could take THC extract from hemp, because the hemp was pushed through that bill, and then they can make these wonderful THC drinks that have literally flooded our market here. Chris Drosner wanted to talk about this because there was a recent event here in Milwaukee that Chris believes might usher in something that may change the whole landscape of THC. Chris, go right ahead and let us know what's up.
Yeah. Am I on?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if I'm in the thing or not. So I don't know. I don't know how impactful this is going to be, but it is a milestone, at least according to this company. So the thing is, we've seen our first THC draft THC beverage in Wisconsin, at least according to this company and this distributor that's promoting it. And it's a company called Pharos, so it's not Wisconsin based or local or anything. And it's a national company. And I mean, I have been seeing these things proliferate quite a bit, not just in like kind of the like at breweries or you know, in the in grocery stores or liquor stores, but actually in grocery stores, in you know, bars and restaurants. Like, these things are really taking up shelf space, and in some cases directly, I think, like, you know, I go to these bottle shops a lot, and I'm seeing, you know, doors that used to be filled with craft beer going over to these THC beverages. So but the draft thing is a new and interesting wrinkle. And I went to this event literally last night at Doc's Commerce here in Milwaukee, and it was like I mean, this company's been selling in Wisconsin for a few months and stuff. It's not like this is a launch or anything, but it's kind of it was kind of an event saying, hey, this is interesting because it's on draft. Now, the first thing I thought of when I heard this was to ask Simon, like, well, yeah, you know, I've seen these all over the place. I've never seen them on draft. And like, this company says, like, this is one of only 3 markets. I got problems here, or am I good?
Good.
Okay.
You're good. Keep going.
I think it's something like 3 markets that have this new draft product on tap. And I'm like, Simon, why have we not seen this before? It seems logical that you know, that we'd want to do the more economical, you know, avoid canning and go, you know, just straight to consumer kind of package. So can you kind of give me the rundown of what, like, why, for instance, I mean, Vennture, of course, has a THC beverage. You do not offer it on draft. Can you explain why that is?
Yeah, well, like, to be fair, they are not the first in Wisconsin to have THC on draft.
Okay.
There have been multiple places that have done it, and we've actually sold a couple of kegs on draft, to Sugar Maple, to Kelly's Greens, but it's not often. And part of the reason why is because there's not enough research, to my knowledge, to know how the emulsions operate in liquid and in larger amounts of liquid. So firsthand, there's a lot of calculations that go into figuring out what your dosage is.
Yeah.
Because you need to have, you got to have, the way that the emulsion works is sometimes it will stick, not sometimes, it will almost always, a portion of it will stick to the liner of the can, or the inside of the can. Not because of the liner, but just because it's sticky. Emulsion assumes that there's something that is hydrophobic, and in order for it to get into water or into a liquid, it needs to be emulsified.
Yeah. Can you just explain, like, how this stuff is made? Because I think the concept of emulsion,
yeah,
we kind of went right there, but how, this is how you get the THC product into it.
Into the beverage.
What is that THC product? How is it infused?
Right. So when we get it, it comes in a jug. We weigh it out, and then we dose based on the amount of liquid we're producing.
It's like an oil, basically?
It's not like an oil. It looks like a white glue, almost.
Okay.
I haven't touched it because it's a fairly high concentration. But I have to assume there's a little bit of stickiness to it because you're extracting Delta 9 most times, or CBD, from hemp. Delta 9 is THC. THC has a variety of different kinds of makeup. So Delta 9, Delta 10, Delta 8, all of those are kinds of THC. And those THC molecules are found in cannabis. They're also found in hemp, which is the exact same plant. It's just not as potent. So hemp and cannabis, same thing genetically, except one of them produces higher amounts of THC in the bud than the other. And with the way that the Farm Bill worked, they said as long as your product has under 3% by weight in whatever you're serving, you can use the hemp product, which is a way to have like hemp seed oil and like some of these other things, because there are different things that get into there. Anyways, long story short, you have to overcalculate, or you have to overdose a can in order for the liquid to be the correct dosage, because some of that will stick to the liner of the can. And for us, that amount is consistent. We have 12-ounce sleek cans. I know that X amount, if I want a 5 milligram can, I need to overdose by a certain amount, which I have to overdose by a larger percentage than if I wanted a 10 milligram can, because there's only so much that sticks to the liner. The issue with kegs is, one, how much of that emulsion is sticking to the sides of the kegs or in the draft lines, and if it is sticking in those, what is the actual product and dosage that you're getting when you're pouring the beverage? I know that if I take a can, if I take our blueberry pineapple, it's a 5 milligram THC and 10 milligram CBD. I know that if I pour that whole thing out, it's going to be 5 milligrams of THC based on the container that it's in. If you're dosing based on the assumption of a 12-ounce size into a keg, I think that it's tough, because then you're trusting the bartender to pour the correct amount, and our bodies are very, very sensitive to the THC compound.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, our bodies are sensitive to alcohol as well, but most people know how that affects you, and we have things portioned out, and nothing is sticking to any of the bottles. If you get a bottle of tequila and it says it's 40% ABV, you know that if you have a 2-ounce shot, all 2 ounces of that is 40%. And so then you can easily calculate, if you have a 10-ounce drink, you know exactly how much alcohol is in that drink. But if you don't know how much you're getting, you could be underdosing or you could be overdosing. And I think that I think it can be done, and it can be done fine. But I think if you have it at a corner bar with a random person pouring it from the tap, you have potential of running into issues of overdosing.
Yeah. This company is kind of interesting. Like they're this is Pharos, the one that's coming in. They're kind of like marketing, or their approach. Well, okay, let me start with the founder of this company. Like, she's 70, she's a psychotherapist, and she met she met another her now husband online, and
a human,
and they got married, and he was involved in a dispensary in Oklahoma, and she was kind of intrigued by this and saw like the benefits of the possible benefits of THC for some of her clients, and was like, I want to figure out a way to make this, like, I want to do essentially THC for seniors. And that is basically the ethos of this company, and the marketing on it is not necessarily like explicit on that, because of course you want to have, like, you want to have all the customers, but it's intentionally low dose. It's 5 milligrams per can. It's 5 milligrams per pint. They were pouring pints of this stuff at Doc's. It's pretty fruit forward. It's not like seltzer, the kind of seltzer thing. She said the flavor profiles we were going for is more like wine than like a White Claw or something, which I think is where a lot of the seltzers that I'm seeing go, or like a soda, which is like super sweet. For the record, I think that particularly that pineapple blueberry one, that broach, is really outstanding. But and like she made all these interesting points about, like, liquid is better than like gummies because it's
quicker
faster acting. It's faster
Yeah.
uptake. It's the high doesn't last as long as a like when you're digesting it. Like if you find out you've taken too big of a gummy, or that gummy has more potency than you're expecting, you are in for a long night or a short night, maybe depending on how that's going. And that's not really the case with liquids, because she said it's like, and I guess this kind of tracks with my experiences, like 30 minutes in, you're as high as you're going to be. And that's what it, that, so if you're good there, then you can have a little bit more, and basically like, do this kind of bit by bit. But there's so much going on with this, like, like stigmas, and it's particularly with like, and I guess the point that I heard from the distributor, from the manager of Doc's, and from Mary, the founder of this company, is like, the growth is not going to happen in your dedicated THC people. The growth in this product is going to be, the sector is going to be from
grandma
people trying it for the first time, or getting into it,
soccer moms, stuff like that.
Exactly. The 5, and so
I mean, traditional weed.
Yeah.
Traditional weed, I mean, before there were dispensaries and before it was legal in several states, like you had to know a person, and then you had to buy it, and it was illegal, and it became, it was, grandpa might not be doing that, even though he might be weed curious, talking about sober curious, but like he may be weed curious, but he's not
people that age who can't drink anymore, or
totally,
like you said before,
or need to sleep.
You age,
Yeah. I mean, there's a million different reasons why you'd want to use it, but I think now it is way more accessible, and I think the growth in the market is coming from people who've never experienced weed or haven't experienced it in a long time, and are able to kind of slowly try it, especially with the liquids. I mean, I don't know, crack a 25 and you can take a sip and then wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the venue for this draft like event was
it's
really
a barbecue
interesting,
joint, right?
Doc's Commerce is a barbecue joint,
but
it's also a pretty big bar. They have got a ton of taps, and they are right across from the convention center downtown, the Baird Center. And so there's a lot going on with the clientele there. And one of the points that he made was like, listen, I've got 34 taps or whatever it is, and people are not drinking as much craft beer. That was kind of the thing that this is built on. So I'm looking for things that can replace like something that might appeal to somebody who's not going to drink beer and is not going to drink wine or spirits. They got a ton of bourbon and all that kind of stuff. But so here's a $10 or $12 pint that is replacing a water for $0 or a soda for $3. And it's because I'm thinking like, okay, well, if somebody has 2 of these for $24 and instead of drinking 4 beers or 3 beers that might be, you know, over an hour and a 15-minute dinner or something, like, I don't know, like how does that math out? But I don't know. There's a lot going on with this whole thing. And I just thought it was interesting to kind of bring it up and see what you guys thought.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and before or go on, Simon.
I was going to say I'd be interested to hear Maggie's opinion.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
Revolution has a extremely tasty THC beverage as well.
Yeah.
I want to hear the words
Also-
that went with the face when I said THC for seniors.
Also,
Okay.
yeah, and that's where I was going before Simon cut me off. But you know what,
Sorry.
Simon should be a co-host here. I've already tried, y'all, so don't even. I've already been there and asked him long ago. But no, Maggie, everything that Simon asked. Also, how do you feel as a rep, and someone who, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm categorizing you wrong, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong, but fights for shelf space or works with, for tap handles and making sure that, Revolution's everywhere where it can be, where y'all are, y'all feel y'all good representatives. So there's a little bit of a battle there, I'm pretty sure, right? So then how is these THC, how do you feel that creep? And I know that y'all have one, so maybe the creep is not, what are you seeing out there on the streets?
I mean, so like, if you're looking at just like off-premise places, it's huge in Festival Foods, it's huge in Total Wine, it's huge in Woodman's and in Quick Trip. Like those are very like vied for, and those they're really looking for the best deal always, right? Like especially those places. The thing that like Revolution / Reverb Beverage does differently is that ours are 6-packs and 12 ounces. The thing that like I run into in the on-prem, so like bars and restaurants. Excuse me, sorry, that PBR. Sorry, that was gross.
Fair.
And not be like, so like having it on tap or just having it in like a bar or restaurant, it's like, what does your insurance look like? Is that okay with your insurance? Because I've definitely had bars and restaurants be like, oh, I have to pull my product because my insurance company caught on, and they're like, that's not cool. So there's that whole part too. I've definitely seen it on tap, like in the Hudson area, like that whole Chippewa Valley. That is crazy THC land because of like Minnesota coming over. And I can't remember if it was like Oliphant or Falling Knife, and they had it on tap at, I forgot the craft beer bar, and it was somewhere. Growler guys. They had it on tap, and like people were like, "Do you have to shake the keg?" And like people would, like the bartenders would go back there and like move the keg, and I'm like, "What?" That's like
Pharos recommends that their draft people do that once a day.
Yeah, see, like that's crazy.
Doesn't work.
Yeah,
it also doesn't work. So then you're telling me that if somebody forgets that, then they're getting a dose of like 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
They said what that was for was more for the fruit in suspension rather than the emulsion. They say it's like nano emulsified, which I don't know.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know enough about that to.
Yeah, I mean, from what I know is that especially if there's fruit in there, that things will stick to the fruit. Like it's sticky. Like my kids just got slime for their birthday. Well, like it sticks to everything. And like even if you think you got it off your hands and you go to scratch your beard, there's more there. But like emulsion is really sticky. So think about like, I mean, it's not like pine sap, but it's, I don't know. It's something like after you wash your hands are still like tacky. And if the emulsion comes out of solution or if it breaks, you can't just shake that to get back into solution. It needs to go through like ultrasonic like shaking. You can't just like reincorporate it.
Like one of those.
You're telling me that you have
to, at the hardware store.
Yeah, you need like a paint.
Except you need it in like tiny form. So like to me, that just is a very, if you're talking about insurance companies and on-prem places, like if you're telling me that you can't figure out how to how to incorporate it, or that I'm responsible for shaking this. It's a little scary.
I will say that like Rev bought a tunnel pasteurizer for this venture.
Oh, a pardon?
Sorry, Simon. Not to.
No,
What?
yeah. Tunnel pasteurizer. Well, that makes sense also because you don't have preservatives. Generally, we're acidifying ours so that it's more on the acidic side and nothing's going to grow in there. But you also have to worry about with stuff that doesn't have alcohol. You're looking at botulism. You're looking at possibility of, you wouldn't have botulism with a lower pH, but there's a handful of other things that like you still have to be cognizant of that alcohol cures. Alcohol takes care of it because those things can't live in that environment. But if you're putting fruit and little North Ave, but if you're putting like
Little
fruit, I got this one here. It's got a passion fruit, orange, and guava. But like, if that's in there and it's fermenting, I mean, the worst it's going to do is create a little more alcohol and add some CO2. But it's not going to. It, in theory, wouldn't kill you or put you in the hospital.
Yeah, sickness is never an issue with bad beer.
Yeah,
And
generally,
you're saying it could be an issue with some of these other things.
Yeah. Which Revolution has a tunnel pasteurizer, which helps cure that. But I'm sure they've also done the work and the research on what happens to the emulsion after it goes through a tunnel pasteurizer, because that's a whole nother thing. If you
We get ours tested.
Yeah,
too.
well, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like, after it goes through heat, what does that do to your emulsion? What does that do to the THC?
Yeah.
So
and I should say that the Pharos Marion Rhino from Pharos and the guy from Rhino, I know his name is literally Rhino.
Marion
like
Rhino
the third too. Like
of course he owns a cannabis company.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Or his partner in dispensary, whatever.
I mean, they said have rigorously tested all this stuff. The Capital Houston guy, their distributor, the president of their distributor was at this event, and he said he personally tested, like he was pulling. They had a keg in the office,
sure,
and he was pulling, pours to take home off of different levels in the keg to see without shaking it.
Sure.
To see, and admittedly, this
it's anecdotal.
Yes, totally. I mean, very non-scientific, but he felt like it was consistent at the top of the keg and the bottom of the keg in the middle. So, I mean, again, I don't.
Which it could be. I don't know. It's just, to me, that would worry me. Yeah. And I don't have enough money I don't have enough money to throw behind that kind of testing.
Right. To your point, like the cans, you know what you're getting. It's consistent, and the key thing is that the consumer is drinking the entire package at a time. It may settle out within that can.
Sure, but they're going to get
the side, but you know that they're going to get
that
as much as Yeah.
All right, y'all. All right. Well, we have to move along. Apparently, we could talk about this.
I think it's really interesting stuff. Like the whole there's a ton of dynamics with a lot of different stuff. I don't know.
It is. Yeah. Also with a ton of dynamics and a lot. Oh, Maggie, did you have something to add?
Oh, I was going to remark on my face that I made when Chris said THC for seniors. Okay, the woman literally took medicinal weed and turned it into a business. I mean, bravo, well done. But also, like, no shit, Sherlock. Like just full.
They're planning a
marketing
in senior living communities for this stuff. Like they're gonna they're really going for it with this.
I mean, give her hell.
Yeah, it's cool. She seems so nice. Wonderful. Like I can tell that she's a good listener, and she seems like a therapist when you talk to her. So yeah.
All right. And a fair subject to talk about. I believe, is the hyper local movement and the community movement within breweries. Um, One of the things that, as I've learned, as I'm continuing to learn the landscape of Wisconsin breweries doing the Badger Beer Report, one of my favorite breweries, or type of breweries, is Chris, the Main Street Brewery. It's the one that's on Main Street. It's in this little town that has 800 people, and or 1,000 people, or what does Brookfield have, Simon? Don't answer that. It's
A
one
lot
of
more than
those
that.
breweries on the
Yeah,
main strip where it's right smack dab in the middle of everything community. I can just name off a bunch. Knuth Brewing, Knuth Brewing is one of them. Over here has one of them. And they're just really, to me, my favorite ones, actually, if that makes sense, as opposed to one in an industrial park like Octopi, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Lone Girl gives me more of a homely feeling. It's right up the street. And again, that's another Main Street brewery. So, Simon, I really wanted to talk to you about this because really you have accented this. It's been a thing for Venture since the start. I cannot really honestly, again, covering 260 breweries and not knowing much about probably half of them still at this point. I can say that you are one of those breweries I can tell that y'all are really, really community forward. So talk about that as the owner of a brewery, and what does this mean? Focusing on true community,
Mhm.
gathering places, one of our favorite breweries. Uh, it's just a lot here.
Yeah. Well, I think one, we are a smaller brewery, even though we have 2 locations. Both of those locations are small, and we don't produce a ton of liquid. And for us, we started the space with the idea of exploration of flavor. And that was kind of the impetus for us to do what we're doing. Um, but one of the things that I think, I don't know, I have conversations with my wife about this all the time about how, when I started this business, I used to go to church often. Um, I don't necessarily consider myself a religious person or someone who ascribes to religion now. But I mean, I went to Christian college for church music, and I grew up in church, and to me, I think there is a giant need as humans for connection. Um, and so being able to create a space and a drink or flavor, um, uh, being able to do that in a space that is accessible to people was kind of the point for Venture, to explore flavor, to create space for people to come together around a common thing and connect, even if they're not necessarily. And that's one of the things that I think church and like that kind of community can do well, is it puts a lawyer next to a healthcare worker next to a mom, and the thing that they have in common is that they're in that same space, and they're kind of doing a thing together. So for me, it was kind of how do we create a space. I mean, it didn't exactly start that way, but I think it's kind of morphed into, or I mean, it didn't start as that with that kind of thinking. It still had that same kind of mission, but it didn't have that. I guess I wasn't able to put it into those kinds of words. It took kind of going through COVID and starting to think about, well, I mean, people need space to be together, to rub shoulders and elbows, to bring their mom and their cousin and their friend from out of town, or the person they're catching up with. And the way to do that is to create space for that, as well as to create events that are kind of focused around that. Not to mention on the business side, like, I mean, we don't exist without people buying things from us, period. Revolution doesn't exist unless people buy their their beverages. We don't exist unless people buy our beverages. They could sit in our space all they want, but if they don't buy anything, we don't exist. So finding ways, that's where events come in. It's like, well, you can come and sit in our space, but with these events, we have things that are going on, and we're doing these special things for it. It allows us to kind of create a fuller and rounder experience. So like, right, we have a comedy show coming up. This weekend, we have what's called Pickle Palooza, which is just a celebration of pickles. Not to mention we're releasing a pickle bruv, which is really, really tasty. But that also, like, a lot of our beers and a lot of our coffee and cocktails reach into the community of food and beverage to partner with people. So we're getting pickle brine from, they're called Welkies, which they're up by, is it Welkies? I'm pretty sure it is. They're up by Door County, and they make pickles. They're on the shelves down here in Metro Market. But we got 15 gallons of pickle brine from them. We're doing, I don't think I sent it over, but in October, we're doing an event called Lo-Fi and Low-Brow, which we have somebody coming in who's doing kind of live lo-fi music, and we're going to do low-brow cocktails, and then kind of gussy up our beer in different ways. So maybe it's, you can get a shot of the Heights with Underberg in it. So just kind of fun ways to approach and create things that are accessible to people. And I do think that's, I think Maggie had a giant beer crawl not that long ago. And I think that's another, like, finding ways to get people out and to do things with other people is a big deal for us as humans. Because I don't think that I think it makes us happier people. I think that it makes us better people when we are able to go out and have conversations. And for me, a lot of that revolves around alcohol, but it also revolved around coffee as well for a large amount of time, and still does. I think that there's a lot of ways that you can do that, but this is the way that I'm choosing to do that. And so while I didn't step into a position of a pastor or music leader, I'm now the co-owner of a brewery, and I can kind of create my church how I see it, and create a space that people can feel comfortable and accepted in. And yeah, I mean, there's a cost to it, but I mean, if you walk into a church, they're going to hand you a plate. So just saying.
I think that's really well put, and I never really thought about the church brewery owner like trade-off that you had there. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. Thanks for. I don't know if I've got a lot to add, but I think you said it really well, Simon. Thanks for sharing it.
Maggie, do you have anything to add, or we'll after the show we'll move along?
No, I mean, I agree with Draws. Like, I love the way Simon put that about, I guess I didn't think about the sense of community as much in the church. Like, I mean, I went to church camp, I get it, but like, you are the same in that way. You are bringing your own community. It's just really beautiful when you put it that way, that you're still doing stuff. And I got nothing else.
I think honestly, I think Maggie, I think you do a great job of that as well. And I mean, the point is you're also doing it for a monetary goal, right? Like,
sure.
But also Revolution creates great liquid. They create a great product. But what are you doing right now? You're putting together flower crowns for an event that's happening, right? And that's going to bring people together. Right? It's going to put people in a space where they're rubbing elbows with people that they don't know, and then they're going to have a conversation with someone who's in the next stall, who's also peeing or whatever, and like it's you're putting people in a space together, and that's a big deal. And I think that's something that COVID really hurt us with. is that space. And you know, you can, if you talk to any fourth grade teacher who's been in teaching for years, they'll tell you that like that group of kids, or like a sixth grade teacher who's kind of right in the middle, that group of kids that experienced COVID, where they were at home doing learning and didn't have community and socialization, it's a different world. And now, you know, my kids didn't experience at home learning. They were too young for that. Liam started school when kids were able to go back to school. But like, it's a different world, and removing socialization and removing the gathering of people, I think hurts our society. And so if you know, if you're able to create a space where, you know, we're doing Oktoberfest, or we're doing we're doing a beer crawl, we're doing a tap takeover, and we're listening to jock jams because it's a 90s night, like there's a way for people to connect
that idea.
It's a good one, right? But there's a way for people to connect to these things. You're all in the same space to connect to that thing. And so it allows you to, or it allows people to create community, which then creates a stronger connection to your brand. I mean, it just does. So if you're there because you're doing a Revolution takeover, or you're celebrating, lowbrow cocktails, it creates a stronger connection to that brand. Or you're drinking a pickle brov with the shooter of Bloody Mary. I mean, yeah.
You giving Donna's a run for her money or what?
No, absolutely not.
I just want to.
It's the number one beer that nobody's requested.
Yeah.
Chris,
want to jump in with two quick things here. One is that Simon, like, you are not just talking about this. This is innate in this company, in Venture's DNA. Like, you didn't mention the logo. It is 3 triangles together in a Venture diagram, and 2 of the triangles are coffee and beer, and the 3rd one is community.
Yeah.
So that is like that's part of that's. I mean, I guess that's talk too, but it's talk before COVID wiped out community, or like kind of recast the sense of community and those challenges, breweries and all that stuff. And then the other thing I want to say was, like, kind of jumping out to like the business and the kind of the industry side of things. Like, this is the best model for a brewery right now. Is a small community focused brewery that's not trying to distribute to, no offense to Maggie, I mean, no, not that this is not offense, but like, that's not trying to distribute to 6 states or 30 states.
We're in 12,
which was kind of the model, like that was a model that was going around in 2016, 2017, when you guys were probably starting to do your planning there. But it's been pretty clear where it's working the best. Mm-hmm. And in many cases, like, we talk, Greg, I mean, we've had on Badger Beer Report, we've had a rundown of where all these new breweries are opening, and there's a handful in established cities, but like Fond du Lac's getting its first brewery, Beaver Dam is getting another brewery. It's like these are kind of the places that can be the place in a relatively small community. And mm-hmm. I mean, I think, Venture is certainly in Milwaukee, but it is a neighborhood spot. It is Washington Heights. Certainly people come from all over the place, and Brookfield too. Mm-hmm. But like that is part of what is going on there, and that's a thing.
I mean, it's still hard as fuck, and making sure that we're making money. But it's
three Benzes out of it, right? But
I'll be lucky if I get
and have a satisfying.
Yeah, I'll be lucky if I'm able to afford the catheter when I'm old.
It's fuck.
Your kids have to afford it.
A lot of pee talk coming out. You got to go. You guys need to take a break.
I don't know, man. I'm working on my daily water intake.
Well, while Simon works on his daily water intake, what's that, Simon?
Kirkland rum.
Oh, Jesus.
Really?
Speaking of lowbrow.
I mean, honestly, it's pretty good. Kirkland liquor is not terrible.
No, so they actually there's a TikTok group that dang, I forget who it is, but they do a series called Can It Kirkland, and
Yeah.
they'll take like the name brand versus the Kirkland brand and blind taste test 5 people,
I'm
and
telling you.
a lot of times it can Kirkland, so it could be just as good.
Yeah, this rum is actually they say Oliver Dumont is the master blender, and there's a rum that comes out of France, and he's their head blender. So it's the same thing.
French rum?
Yeah. I mean,
The long
there's
history
French
of
rum.
French sugar
I mean,
cane?
what is the Admiral? I'm trying to think of the
Nelson.
No, there's a Navy strength rum that's like Smith and Cross. That's Europe. There's a lot of European rums.
Okay,
But
all right. I'm
anyways,
just showing
carry on.
my ass here.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well,
My ignorance.
So building a community around your brewery obviously is a good. Chris kind of described it about how he feels it's a good business practice and how it's a way for breweries to make it through. So that leads us to the business of beer and a change in economy, which is topic number 4 of your mixed 6-pack, y'all. I would like to discuss the impact of all the different challenges that we are facing. So having a brewery rep and having a brewery owner here is amazing for this conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. I just want to discuss what's on the front line here. We hear about tariffs. We have the challenges of distribution. Chris was talking about shelf space earlier. And also Simon had already has gotten into how breweries are diversifying their revenue streams by offering other beverages like hard seltzers, ciders, THC infused drinks. We couldn't have 2 better people here, Chris, for this conversation. Given the diversity that both of these breweries bring to, I don't know. I think Rev is fully Wisconsin. We know that you got to be close to Vennture to get Vennture, or close-ish. But so Simon, actually, let's start with Maggie first. Maggie, what's going on out there as far as everybody talks about how the beer scene is tough, and we're losing breweries across the board. We're losing breweries, but the staff economist for the Brewers Association told me, y'all, that Wisconsin is pacing better as far as closings and as far as drinking goes against the national average. The national average is down like 4% or something. Maggie, you probably know this, and Wisconsin's only down like 2 or something. So Wisconsin, we're still pacing ourselves as a drinking state out in front of all of y'all, of course. I don't know if Maggie sees that, how Maggie feels about that. Maggie, I don't know how much you know. I mean, you probably have to know things about the Chicago area and how different that is, but we don't want to talk about that. Just really focusing on what you're seeing in Wisconsin, and what do you feel like Revolution is doing to buffer themselves against this sobriety movement and all the different factors that are coming at you.
I will say, so we actually just sent out a wholesaler email. So I'll touch on some of the numbers from that. It does show that the Midwest as a whole. So you're not in the Dakotas. I believe that includes Iowa, and I think that goes all the way over to Ohio. And so that looks like it's the last 4 weeks, just below 7.5%. This is not a very great chart that they sent out, but that's neither here nor there. And then we are in overall, this is for everything, just at the 2.5 mark. So as the Midwest,
so 7.5, you mean percent growth year over year?
No, down. The Midwest,
down.
as those states are down 7.5%, and Rev within those states is only down 2 and some change, 2.5. So
above market average.
Pyrrhic victory, huh?
Yeah. So and like the other thing is that like you're talking about just Wisconsin closings, but like 21st Amendment literally just closed.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So there are definitely some big hits.
Drink our watermelon.
Yeah. Terrapins, pleased actually, and they've gone away even since they like got purchased by Tilray. So like, there's a lot of breweries that have gone, like lost their mojo, so to speak, and lost their representation in all the states that they were in, and they definitely pulled out of Wisconsin, which does benefit Rev.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because they got sold from.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they weren't making
Miller.
half their beer at in Milwaukee,
downtown.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, so they were everywhere, and now they're.
Yeah, it makes zero sense for them to be here otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But just in general, like you had your own little like little bar at Miller Park, Amfam Field, whatever. We're not doing that now, but you had your own Terrapin branded like beverage.
They had 2 beers at Summerfest 2 years ago.
Yeah, and now.
Yeah,
Beer Capital does not care about them at all. So, I think Rev definitely has hit some hard spots. Running both locations. We closed our brew pub, our main, our original location. We own that building, so it wasn't because of the rent. It was just because running a restaurant's really, really hard, especially in Logan Square with all that construction and everything else going on. Like it's just not sustainable. So there's all of that. But for Rev, like we launched the NA or hop water.
Which is delicious.
Thank you. I also think
my
so. But it
favorite
always
hop
sounds
water,
better when it sounds better when
Let's have
everybody
one
else.
today. Yeah.
I mean, we gave out like 20 cases at Great Taste, so
yeah,
people seem to like it. But yeah, and then with Reverb, we're definitely trying because we know that like though Anti-Hero is technically Illinois, and no one gives a crap about Illinois, but Illinois is #1 IPA and stuff like that. We're still. I think we're in the top 5 of IPAs in the Midwest for that same Midwest region. So, yeah, we're out here. The business of beer. Okay. I was trying to make sure I'm still on topic at that point after the oldest rant.
Yeah.
But
Simon, what do you see in terms of like headwinds and, I mean, kind of the macroeconomic fact? Like you talked a lot about like, building events and all that stuff to kind of
for sure
build community, but also I mean that's good for the business too.
What are
the things out of your control that you feel like are just pushing against all the time?
I mean it's interesting because with us being a local spot, our business is affected greatly by locations that open up close to us, because that takes people from our seats on a weekly or even daily basis. So the previous thinking, and it's still for the most part true, is that all rising tides lift all ships. But I think that's to a point. If we're right next to lakefront, we do better because lakefront has a large crowd and the majority of and granted their tap room probably does a large amount of money. Their revenue is probably not insignificant, but they do even more on the wholesale side. So not that it's not important for them there, but they're bringing more people to that area. That's not necessarily the case when you're looking at it like neighborhood wise or in shorter distances. If we had 3 breweries on the same street, maybe that's one thing. But if we have, a brewery that's 6 blocks down and then another one that's 10 blocks down, it's going to change the landscape, especially if you were the only brewery within a 6-mile radius. So it's different, but I think for us, we have an interesting opportunity to actually go out and do some wholesale, which for that is essentially just extra money on top. Whereas a lot of larger breweries, bottom lines are built on wholesale, and then their tap rooms are the cherry on top. For us, it's kind of flipped. So if we are able to do a bit of wholesale, and that's something that we're kind of looking into for the winter. I mean, this summer was insane for us. We had a beer garden. We had 2 locations. We had an event once or twice a week somewhere out and about. Had 2 farmers markets, a couple of other things. So like we were out and about in the community, and the actual amount of money that's coming through the tap room per se was not exactly what it was. It was still good. It was fine. But I wouldn't say that there was significant growth on the beer side through the tap room. But I think for us, we have, there's one of the things like during COVID, we had 3 owners and 2 employees, and other coffee shops and other breweries had, other coffee shops like a Collectivo had like 15 employees, and half of them were college kids. And, you're asking a college kid to say, hey, I got a cough, I'm going to stay home, to make a responsible decision. And it's easier at that point to just close your shop and not do anything, than risk, 15 other people. Whereas for us, it's like, well, you all can kind of come in and work independently and then don't talk to anyone else. So we, it was a lot easier to manage that. So I think in general, I don't know, things are changing a lot. We are able to do some wholesale, which is great. But, when it comes to the impact of inflation, that's real. We had to raise our coffee bean prices. We get Brazil is one of the largest coffee exporters in the world. And I don't know if the actual tariffs have gone on yet, but there have been threats of 50% tariffs. Climate change is a big deal for hops, for coffee. There's a lot of other things, steel, aluminum, all of that stuff has gone up. And so when we were, we make pretty good margin on some of these things, but that margin has changed a lot. And we've had to either increase our price or do something else to kind of create added value. We recently launched a service industry night on Mondays, just because it's, and that service industry includes teachers, and it includes nurses, doctors, anyone who's doing service. So, I mean, really anybody could come in and say they're service industry, but that's $5 heights. That's, I think $7 Boilermakers. Like it's not, there's still an economy there where it's, you can go in and have a beer or 2 and it's not going to kill you. But I think people are cognizant of it. It changes their behavior. It changes how late they stay out or how much they're drinking. And instead of saying, yeah, I'll just have another one, they think about it first. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely money is on everybody's minds right now with everything going up. But for us, trying to keep things kind of in a range where there's still people coming to the tap room and our bartenders are still getting paid because people are coming in is on the top of my mind all the time.
I don't really have anything to add on this. I mean, I think the macro climate, I mean, just economy wide, is not great right now. We've seen that for several months.
Yeah.
People are skittish, and skittish people don't really spend a lot of money on pretty much any level. So, yeah. Greg, do you want to take us to the next topic?
No.
I'll do it.
Would you like me to?
No. We're just gonna sit here, Chris. It's fine.
You're kind of the MC here, aren't you?
All right, if you insist, we'll talk about Wisconsin
What would you
beer
say you
trends
do
real
here?
quick here. Beer trends, I mean styles, y'all. Let's talk beer now. We're gonna get on beer here a little bit.
Beer,
I'm not that we weren't before, but beers, you know, will we Badger beer reports, big thing around here. And Wisconsin beer trends are a big thing for me. I'm fascinated by all things beer, but one of the things I'm fascinated about what y'all are drinking and what he is brewing, because one thing I do know about most brewers is that they really only want to brew, excuse my language, shit that y'all will drink. So so
Not what we want
interested
to brew.
right.
Not in the business of selling, making beer. You're in the business.
I'm
of
always I'm always fascinated by the styles that roll through our beer breweries and the different trends. For example, a couple years ago we had a ghost trend. A couple years ago we had a Berliner Weiss trend. I don't see either one of them that much. Sorry, bruv, anymore. But outside of that, right, bruv is like a hangover from that era of the Berliner Weisses, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I ain't talking shit. I will talk shit on the ghost though. But that aside, that aside, what are you trying to brew, Simon? What is going into the fall here? What are the styles that people want to see, people want to drink? And then also in the summer, I saw a lot of cream ales that I wouldn't normally see. What did you see? You know, was that a thing? And you know, what are the styles that I should be looking for coming up here? And what happened? Yeah. Maggie, I know you know what's going on because you're in a lot of different bars. You know, talking Rev and you know, pushing the Rev. So,
Maggie,
Simon, what's going on out there?
Maggie probably sees more than I do as far as trends, especially in Wisconsin.
Maggie, what are people asking for?
Yeah, but hold on a second though. Simon, no, seriously though, like, is there a gate? Like, real quick before we get to Maggie on the overall, Simon, what is there a gate? Like, how do you know as a brewer what people want to brew kind of in advance? Because now the fall beers are coming in, and I want my fall beers. I'm tired of your summer beers, so give me. I mean, your fruit is nice, but I need my pumpkin. I need my Oktoberfest. I need my malt. How do you know that though, Simon? How do you know what your people want?
Well, I mean, overall, there's trends that go seasonally. You have darker beers in the winter. You have lighter beers in the summer. You have fruity stuff going into spring. Coming into autumn, you have, you know, you start getting maltier. And honestly, I think a lot of beer right now, IPAs still obviously dominate a lot, but to me, it seems like more of the pale ales are the things that are moving. It's things that are moderate ABV that people can have two of, that aren't going to be $7 to $9, or they aren't going to be $9 to $10 a pint, that you can sit down with for 15 minutes or something and drink. I guess it depends on how quickly you drink them. That's why I can't drink wine. I drink wine like I drink beer. That's a problem. It's a problem. Where did that bottle go? I don't know. Where did my mind go? I don't know. Same place the bottle. But I think kind of mid to low ABV beers are consistent. And I think, like, for us, Rob and I were having a conversation the other day, just kind of spitballing about what we want to brew and what we're thinking of. And it revolves around, like, what do we think is interesting? What do we think is fun? And then what do we think will sell as well? And then kind of balancing it between those two. And I think for us, like, going back to some of the older styles, making a Scotch ale, making a cream ale, making something that is, you know, an ESB or something where you can drink a pint of it, or two or three. It truly doesn't cost us that much money. In comparison, like, an ESB is probably half the price of making an IPA or less. So finding ways to do that where we can, well, you know, we're constantly thinking about economy as well and what we're spending. But finding ways to do that, where if we're going to make IPAs, we're going to spend the money on them and do that well, but also finding ways to just create beverages that people drink and are easy to have 2 or 3 of.
Amen to that, Chris. I'm sorry. Now you had a question for Maggie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess kind of the same question, but from, I mean, I don't want to say that Simon's on the push side of things, but you're definitely on. You're in touch with the pull and what retailers want to see. What do you see? What are people asking for? I mean, I know this time of year Oktoberfest is like kind of dominates everything, but looking ahead into winter, some trends from summer, even like what are you seeing as the big thing?
I mean, I will say that in the past, like this year, I've seen a lot of like black IPAs come back, and we've had one. I know Lakeland had one. It was just wild. I was like, okay, I thought this was gonna be a hard sell, and they're like, oh no, there's already 2 out here. Lager, Progress, and then I saw more come out this year. Again, I think like Half Acre had one. There were a couple other breweries that were like, yeah, we have one too, and it's like very cool. Also lagers, light lagers, the Cold Time, the that what is it, Green Belt, that you know what I mean, like that kind of like
premium lager,
old school American lager.
Yeah. Floyd's came out with their deluxe. I mean, it's probably been over a year by now, but their corn grit lager.
I mean, kind of to this point, like I feel like at Great Taste this year, I could not really identify a clear trend of like this is what's hot. There were a lot of one-off things and like kind of interesting diversions, but it felt pretty like, yeah, this is what's happening. I mean, one thing that I thought was interesting is I've been following the opening of the reopening of Lombardi Brewing Company, or the opening of Lombardi here in Milwaukee, and that's a brewery that, like, it feels to me like it's not. I mean, the name and it's a kickstart of a clear like just contract, like cashing in on the name and not really worrying too much about the liquid. But they have new investors and new I guess talent from up in I think it's District 1 is the brewer, the Wisconsin brewery that's involved in this reboot, and they're taking over the City Lights Brewery here in Milwaukee, and they're on the cusp of opening, and they put a social media post out there that had a tap lineup, and they had a Czech Dark Lager on there, and I was like, that is not a brewery that I expected to brew a beer like that, and it made me think that maybe is Czech Dark Lager becoming like kind of a thing that everybody wants to brew, and are people talking about, is there buzz about Czech Dark Lagers? I don't know. I mean, we made one. Been a fan of it. I've had the Vennture one. It's good. Like things are, but it seems like a anything with Czech on it, I'm like, be careful, don't fuck this up. Like, because there's the kind of a mystery around, to me, those beer traditions. Maybe this is just Clint from Working Draft talking through me, and the reverence that they have for this family of beers. But I don't know, like, is Czech Dark Lager a thing? Like, more like, is that jumping into like kind of mainstream craft beer instead of like just the weird nerds over here?
Yeah, I would say so. We've had Rev's put one out for like the last 2 or 3 years, and ever since it came out, I mean, it's so flipping good. And which is probably not the most ringing endorsement, but like, because there's
That's
a
the
bit
thing,
of a
these things are
bias,
really
but
good.
like it is really good. Yeah. So, but then ever since then, I don't know if it's kind of like, oh, I noticed that one car, I'm going to see it everywhere on the road. It's like, oh, I noticed this one beer, I'm going to see it everywhere kind of thing. So it could be a little bit of that, but I've definitely had buyers be like, oh yeah, oh, so-and-so has one. Or I'm like, hey, I noticed you already have this. Like, even Enlightened did one before they closed. And it was, damn, one of their best
It was good.
beers.
It was good.
Yeah.
Oh, hold
So-
on.
Uh,
Oh, do you still have some, Simon?
He's gonna go get a Czech Dark Lager. What's gonna be?
Or his kid. I don't know which one. Oh.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just rubbing her face in it. Wow, look at that.
Yeah. I can't guarantee
mhm.
quality on that.
But I mean, I think that goes back. Yeah, that goes back to the trend of like low ABV, malty, traditional beer,
Yeah.
beer that tastes like beer, and like something you can have 2 or 3 of, and it doesn't cost us as much, so we can sell it for a little bit less.
And I will say in the market that like Guinness with the splitting the G thing is definitely making a comeback in popularity. It's kind of like, yeah, it's on tap everywhere because no one else does nitro.
Yep, and all these bars have nitro lines.
Yep.
Yep.
And don't know how to switch them over.
Nope.
The distributor techs don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They don't give a crap. But Guinness is everywhere, and they'll pay you, and then not pay you, but like I shouldn't say that. That's people are gonna come after me. But like, they have all the swag, right? So
Yeah, you'll get the merch.
It's an easy Oktoberfest or not a Jesus Christ. I am too sober for this conversation.
Irish.
Yep. Yeah,
St. Patty's Day.
Win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Left Hand's not around really anymore. So, I mean, they were the only other one who was on tap. It was like Left Hand, Rubeus, and Guinness. Like
Oso had a few nitro.
Sometimes,
types.
every now and again.
Nitro IPA and the nitro.
There's a red something. They had their Night
Rusted
Rain,
Red?
Night Train,
Night Train is Night Rain. That's right. Wow. How old are you? I still call that beer Night Train.
Oh boy.
I will have to say about trends real quick. They could be effective as far as changing people's perception and actually, in my opinion, flavor. I'm gonna point to the cream ales. I could still say I'm not a huge fan of them, if that makes sense, but I'm more of a fan of them now that y'all are being very, very creative with them. Whether it's I've seen the blueberry ones, and they're just the straight cream ales are just being made well done, and it seems like y'all are all trying to push them out, and that's cool. I like it because it's a different level of the low ABV. It's a different and it's just a little bit more flavorful than the shit that you can get, the big beer crap. So cream ales have turned me on to them, and I look for them now. So shout out to the trends, y'all. Shout out to the
little
trends.
Milwaukee beer history though on cream ales. Let's not forget that when Eagle Park started, up on the second floor or third floor,
Lincoln Warehouse,
Lincoln Park, Lincoln Warehouse, Lincoln Park. Jesus.
Okay.
That was kind of what they were known for, was fruited iterations of different cream ales, and that was kind of the thing that got them, I think that, and you can kind of see that concept of iteration and kind of like messing with stuff still in today what is a pretty successful young brewery, I guess.
I know Indeed did a whole variety pack with their cream ales this year.
Bricks.
I didn't try them. I just saw them. And
Bricks,
then
Bricks was definitely the flagship. Yeah.
Bricks. And
not Brick. Is it Bricks? That was Enlightened.
Bricks. Yeah.
Oh, for Enlightened. Oh yeah.
And then
Enlightened. I thought you said Indeed for some reason.
I did say Indeed.
I meant. I'm sorry. I meant Enlightened. Yeah.
Pistachio cream ale and
riffing off the pistachio.
Yeah. They had a whole like an ice cream. It's like strawberry cream ale, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Molly was selling it, and I kind of paid attention. And then the one I did have that I did like was Earth Riders. It's like a blueberry honey, blueberry something, lavender. I don't know. It was delicious. So that's all.
And Earth Rider crowd. Yeah. Wow. Also, y'all. So one of my favorite times is wrap up here. This is number 6. Number 6, y'all, is updates on Revolution Brewing and Vennture. We got them throughout the whole show, y'all. Definitely an interesting perspective into both breweries. But we will finish up here talking about what's going on with Revolution Brewing, my friend Maggie.
Yeah, so we actually just packaged last week our 10 milligram THC, and then October you'll see our variety packs. So that'll be fun. 2 new flavors. They're pineapple and passion fruit included in them separately, not together. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention to that part of the sales meeting, but they're coming. So I'll figure it out by October. As far as events, I'm doing the Land O'Lakes Oktoberfest, which is why I did these like 132 of these flower crowns during this. That's Land O'Lakes has seen a lot of success, or we've seen a lot of success in Land O'Lakes. We've even done some like house loggers for them called Lando Loggers. So it's cute. I even made the tap magnets for it. But there's a car show the day of that Oktoberfest. There's also a Friday night movie night in the same area. So you'll see a lot of classic cars during the day, like the Doc Hudson car. There's the Blues Brothers. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. The DeLoreans there, all sorts of like Batmobiles, very cool cars will be there during the day. And then there's a definite like official Stein holding competition that they do. They're super serious about it. Last year was my first year, and we sold through 10 half barrels of beer in Land O'Lakes, and not like the butter part. The butter one is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're right on the border of the UP. So I got 3rd place. I was supposed to work on it this year, but I didn't. I'll work on my elbows other time. But yeah, so there's that. And then it's not posted yet, but I'm sure Miles at station number 6 will get on it soon. We're doing the last brews and brats of the year at station. So we're actually going to do our Polish Pilsner, which is our collab with Moore Brewing, which is Moor, not More, out of Chicago. It's called More Revolution. It's a Polish Pilsner. So we were thinking about putting little pierogies on the brat and just being real obnoxious about it, or Polish sausage, if you will. So that is September 20th at 4 p.m. at station. So there you go.
Nobody's going to get mad for being obnoxious.
Excellence.
No.
Excellence.
Who doesn't love pierogies? Kidding me?
Simon, soon. Yeah. Soon, Simon, we're going to find you in a pickle.
That's right. Picklepalooza. It's going to be great. Why? I don't know. Who knows why? But yeah, we got Pickle Bruv coming out, which I don't know why. We'll see. It's super tasty.
No,
And
I know why, because pickle beers are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they are. They're niche
people
for
get
sure.
weirded out by them, but then they try them and they're
Yeah,
like,
and then they try them and they're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. And they're like, oh, I could pickle something with that. You could. So we got Pickle Bruv. We're gonna have a pickle eating contest. We got some pickle cocktails. I got a mezcal, spicy pickle, margarita, which is super tasty. It's got like a little smokiness, some spiciness, rimmed with tahini. We got a watermelon pickle lemonade, which is really good. Just, I don't know, just fun. There isn't a pickle like festival or like thing in Milwaukee, which is interesting. I feel like Milwaukee would be a place to host a large pickle fest, but
I mean, there's a brand of baby pickles that's
made from Illinois.
Yeah, but it's called Milwaukee's.
It is called. Yeah.
Do you have other pickled things, Simon?
No, I wanted to. I will have pickled cotton candy there as well, and we'll have pickles that people can buy. I think next year the goal is going to be to build on this and then have a pickle herring beer pairing. Yeah.
Pickled herring
beer pairing.
Pickled herring beer pairing.
That sounds so dope.
That's how you know you're a journalist and not a musician. Pickled herring beer pairing.
And Simon, this is at we gotta make it this. Yeah, we gotta make a distinction. This is Vennture West, right?
Yep,
not East.
West. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But
and
this is in
Dab
this
Lab.
one.
Yes. So we just had Mom Prom. Going back to the idea of church, getting out of the house as a dad. I mean, even carving out an hour. Well, at this point, 2 hours now. For a podcast is sometimes difficult with little kids. But I think that giving people a reason to take time to get out of the house and doing it in a way in which, if it's two dads, cool, get a babysitter. If it's a dad and a mom, cool, mom stays home. She got to go to Mom Prom, you get to go to Dad Lab. It's cheap babysitting. But giving people a reason, or if it's just dad adjacent people, you don't have to have procreated in order to go to any of these things. It's just the idea that getting out of the house as a parent is sometimes very difficult to do. So giving people an excuse and a reason to do that. Last time we had a featured bourbon, and then I was mixing cocktails. So I was making Manhattans and old fashions and some other fun things, Negronis, on top of having beer and beer specials. That's out at Brookfield, and it's bring your own meat.
Bring my own meat.
Prom.
Yeah, we'll have a grill, but you got to bring your own meat.
I popped into Mom Prom, and the vibes were great.
I know apparently.
There...
I was told by my wife that there was this weird dude who was talking overly loud about not being able to be there wearing the Prom King sash.
Always trying to invite yourself to everything, Drosner.
I think I have the sash. Oh, it's in my car still.
I mean, it's mom adjacent people. Chris is.
Was there meat at the Mom Prom too, or is this? Is there meat at the Mom Prom too, or is this discrimination against?
No, I didn't let Rob go.
All right.
Seamless.
So Simon, I'm pretty sure you should be you're so funny. I think you should perform at this, right? You're going to be performing, right?
So
or what?
We've been doing this comedy.
It's even
show.
funnier if you've seen his new car. It's great.
It's nice. We've been doing a comedy show for the last 4. We've had like 5 or 6 maybe even 7 or 8 of them. It's like every other month that we've been doing it, and Devin Blake and Rachel Mack have been putting it on. They're a married couple who live in our community, and they bring in some really, really good talent that have a pretty good following. I think Rachel Mack was on Last Comic Standing. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Rear. He has like, let me see here. Yeah, he has like 23,000 followers on Instagram, and so they're bringing in some like really great people for $15. It is not a bad deal. So it's a lot of fun. It's again finding ways and reasons for people to get out of the house, and it's
Vennture East.
Yeah, that one's at East.
All right. And last and certainly not least.
Okay, Toberfest. Oktoberfest is pretty okay. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We have it at East, and then the next weekend we'll have it at West. But we'll have our Oktoberfest, and we have an Oktoberfest with coffee as well that we come out with every year, which is delicious. It's so good. Steinholding, and we'll probably be cooking brats. It's probably be making some cotton candy and random stuff for the kids. It's just a good time to come out and exist together. It's not as intense as the Oktoberfest in Land O'Lakes, which seems to that's gonna be a ball.
Can I bring my classic car though?
Yeah, you can bring your classic car. You can
Please.
bring a plastic cup. I don't care. But yeah, it's I think our Oktoberfests are more chill. They're very like family focused, and we'll have some music going as well. Hammerschlagen's always a fun time, especially when you're mostly drunk. I got to figure out where the hammers went, but yeah, it'll be great.
All right, and this was great, and I want to thank y'all for coming back together here. I didn't think we would get all the gang together. I didn't think inside ball, y'all. I asked Maggie and Simon, and I was like, yeah. And I didn't even think Chris was going to show up. So, like, that's a plus. That's a plus. Plus. No.
Pick the right night.
I knew you were going to show up. I just didn't know if you were going to take the RSVP. Chris is a busy guy. We're all busy, though. I mean, y'all are running, But I wanted to thank you again, Simon. Only the best for Vennture Brewing Company. Maggie, safe travels, and we got the winter coming up here, so you be sure that you are safe on those roads. Chris,
I got all-wheel drive. We're good.
Nice.
Yes.
We need that here, Chris. Always nice to correspond with you, even though we do it daily. And we will respond. We will see y'all in the Mix 6. Hopefully in 2 weeks. Tomorrow night we have Joel and I. Let me put my goofy self on this big thing. Tomorrow night we have Joel and I with the Brewery Report returns. 2 weeks. We have openings, closings, weird things. Actually, really weird things going on with our breweries. And we still have some openings that should be coming soon. One, y'all, should be familiar to everybody is Mobcraft. We'll have an update on Mobcraft tomorrow, and we're looking forward to that. And look for a podcast from Layman Brewing should drop tomorrow. Hell, the damn thing should have dropped last week. My bad, y'all. But it will drop tomorrow. Yeah, Simon, you know how this goes. Things just slip and slip and slip and. So that's not gonna slip. It's coming out tomorrow. So and
it's a bummer
you'll see
that
Joel
you're
and I.
not going to be able to talk about Layman's. They've got an event coming up in October 4th. It's a traditional fish boil, and they're releasing a seasonal beer, Tequila Gordita Smoked Pumpkin.
And that is the mic drop moment for this Mix 6. I will see y'all on another Mix 6. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Simon.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye, everybody.
Maybe one of these years we'll get Chris to do an interview for us again, y'all. Right. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. See y'all.